So on 28 I did the same thing because I saw the phase shift is over 18, so I counted 18 squares all the way over here for pi. And so that means that every 3 squares was a fourth of a period, right? So this is 1, 2, 3, 4. There's my fourth tick mark, and that's 2 pi over 3. That's pi over 3, the half, pi over 6, half of this, and then this is 1, 6, 2, 6, 3, 6, which reduces to a half. Okay, and you could label this, but you don't have to. And so on the other side, on the negative side, it's the same numbers in reverse, but negative. Here's the midline, and then because of the phase shift negative 11 pi over 18, I counted 11 squares over, and I drew the vertical line. So cosine is going to start right here. Okay, so it's going to be maximum, the amplitude is 3, so from the midline I count 3 up, 1, 2, 3, and then 3 spaces over, because the 3 spaces is the tick mark, right? So 3 spaces over, 1, 2, 3, that's going to be the 0. Then 3 spaces from that, 1, 2, 3, it's going to go down 3, right here. 3 spaces over, it's going to go back to 0. And then 3 spaces over, it's going to go to positive 5 again. Okay, so there are the 5 points. Connect them for the period, and that's it. So we're going to label this A, B, C, D, and E, and we're going to name them over here. So that's going to be negative 11 pi over 18, 5, and B is going to be negative, let's see, 3, 6, 7, 8 elevenths, no sorry, 8 18ths, so that's going to be 3, 6, 7, 8, that's going to be 4 ninths, and that's at 2, and then C is going to be 3, 5, negative 5 pi over 18, negative 1, and D is going to be negative 2 over 19, so that's negative 1 over 9, 2, and then for E, it's 1/19, I'm sorry, 1/18 pi over 18, and back up to 5. So for this one, the amplitude is 3, the period is 2 pi over 1/4, so you multiply by 4 top and bottom, so you get 8 pi. Midline is y equals negative 1, and then you set the argument equal to 0, so you move this over to the other side and multiply by 4, so 4 times 3 is 12, 12 divided by 2 is 6. So it's going to shift over 6 pi, that's why you see the line here, and here's your midline. Now this is a sine graph, so the zeros are the beginning, middle, and end, right? So here's the 0, then you move 1 tick mark over, and that's the maximum. The amplitude is 3, so it's going to be 1, 2, 3 right here. And then 1 tick mark over, and that's going to be another 0. And 1 tick mark over, and that's going to be negative 3 from the down 3 from the midline. 2, 3 right here. And then one other tick mark over, and it's over here. Okay. Now you could extend it over to the left if you'd like, but we're just going to label these points right here as A, B, C, D, and E. So A would be 6 pi negative 1. B would be 8 pi 2. C would be 10 pi negative 1. D would be 12 pi negative 4. And E would be 14 pi negative 1. So the amplitude is a half. The period is 8 pi because it's 2 pi over 1/4. And so that's 2 pi times 4, which is 8. Midline is y equals 1. and the phase shift, you set it equal to 0, the argument, and you solve for theta, and you get negative pi. So here's the midline, y equals 1, and because the phase shift is negative pi, notice how every grid line is 1/8. I'm sorry, it's not 1/8, it's a pi. So negative pi, that means 1 grid line over, okay? But every 2 grid lines is a tick mark, remember that. So now it's a cosine graph, right? So at the beginning it's going to start at 1/2 above the midline. Then 2 tick marks over, it's 0. Then 2 tick marks, not 2 tick marks, but 2 grid lines over, it's negative a. 2 grid lines over, it's 0 again. And 2 grid lines over, it's going to be 1/2. So here's the graph. It's going to go back down right there. And let's label the A, B, C, D, and E. So A is going to be negative pi, 1.5. B is going to be pi, 1. C is going to be 3 pi, 1/2. D is going to be 5 pi, and 1 again. And then E is going to be 7 pi, 1.5. And there's the 5 coordinates on this that I labeled on the graph.